Hi, good evening, everyone. We'll start the session now. Last session, we discussed about the introduction to automation testing. So the first topic which we discussed. The second concept which I explained yesterday, introduction to selenium. Like what is selenium? What are the components in selenium tool we have? Selenium is a suite of tools. So various components are there: selenium IDE, selenium RC, then Selenium WebDriver. The fourth one is Selenium Grid. Whereas Selenium IDE is the record and playback tool. The working mechanism is record and playback tool. But what are the features are there in the Selenium IDE? Those are insufficient to automate the project. That's the reason in real time Selenium IDE is not preferred, not used. Right. Next. Selenium RC, it is deprecated. There are a lot of disadvantages are there in the Selenium IDE. Selenium RC, the scripts are not executing successfully. That's the reason they're deprecated. Now, Selenium WebDriver. In present, we have the Selenium WebDriver, which we are going to use. Okay. The Selenium WebDriver, the Selenium Grid. Selenium Grid is used for the parallel execution. What are the automation scripts you developed in WebDriver? Those scripts for parallel execution purpose, we are going to use the Selenium Grid it is. Now, today we are going to see introduction to the WebDriver. WebDriver. Now, it was introduced in 2010. It was introduced, but it is came more popularity in market from 2016 onwards. But actually, it was introduced in 2010 only. Selenium when it is introduced in 2004, but WebDriver is introduced in 2010. So the major intention is to overcome the challenges which are faced in the Selenium RC. Those to overcome, they introduced Selenium WebDriver. Okay. Then WebDriver supports different languages. To develop the automation test script like Java, Ruby, C Sharp, Python, JavaScript. These languages it will support. Right. So different browser supports. It will support. What are the cross browsers it supports? IE browser, Edge browser, Firefox, Chrome, Opera, Safari. Same way, multiple OS also it will support. Multiple OS also it will support. Like Windows, Linux, Mac OS. But this WebDriver, how it is going to communicate to the browsers means WebDriver able to communicate with browser native code with browser native code. Sir, what is the browser native code? Suppose if I go for the IE browser or Edge browsers, which are developed using C sharp. Now, in this WebDriver, you can develop the automation test script using any one of the language. It can be Java or Ruby or Python. Execution time, it will interpret that automation test script with browser understandable language. That is the which language they use to develop. With the technology, it is able to communicate to the browser. If I go for the Firefox browser, which is developed using Java. So in Selenium, you written the Python, still it is able to communicate to the Firefox browser. Whereas using WebDriver plus Appium tool, we can automate mobile applications. Both the tools we have to use combination. Okay, next one. WebDriver doesn't consist user interface. User interface. There is no user interface for the WebDriver. So now understand my here. I want to explain to you here out of the WebDriver. So three-tier architecture I want to explain to you. So one simple web-based application architecture. Nothing but three-tier architecture it is. Okay. So that means three layers are there for us. Just understand. Three layers are there. First layer where we are going to call presentation layer, we are going to call first layer which we have, that we are going to call presentation layer. Second one where we are going to call business layer. Third one we are going to call database layer. Presentation layer, business layer, database layer. Now the three layers are there. Presentation layer, business layer, database layer. Now, so presentation layer nothing but where user can interact with application the user interface, nothing but a pages or screens where we have, okay, business layer where business logic written, written, database layer where business related data will be maintained, where business related data now here suppose if I go for the application here, if I give the login credentials, when I click on submit, directly it will not go to the database here. First here it will check is that valid credentials are given or not. According to it, going to check. Or if I go for the registration form in simple. So if I enter the values, when I click on submit, where the data has to be saved in the database layer. But before going to save into the database layer, so whatever information I given in the registration form, it will check is the data is valid or not. Is that data is valid or not? It will check. If it is valid, then the data will be saved into the database. That means the logic is going to be written in this database layer. How this logic is going to be written in terms of suppose Java means there is a jars we are going to call Java archive. Inside this we have the set of packages are going to be there. Each package consists the set of classes. Each program is called classes. Each class can have the methods and properties. If the hierarchy is going to maintain. Different classes, different kind of hierarchy structure will be maintained. Now, so this is the presentation layer, this is the business layer, this is the database layer. So this business layer where the logic is implemented, that we are going to call APIs, also we are going to call application programming interface. Application programming interface. Now, what they're saying here when you talk about the web driver doesn't have the screens like this. Presentation layer, you don't have. And you don't have the database layer. Then what is there? Only API is there. Some program files are there. Okay, ma? Understand. Now, WebDriver doesn't have any user interface. WebDriver doesn't have any user interface. WebDriver is an API which has the set of classes, methods, and properties to communicate browsers. WebDriver is an API which has set of classes, methods, and properties to communicate browsers. API means application programming interface. Now I will show that Selenium I downloaded. You see my here. You don't find the any exe file there. Selenium Java 4.200 is there. See, all are nothing but executable jar files. Executable jar. There is no ex. Directly we can't open We can't operate anything here. Some program simple you can understand some program files. That is the one library it is. WebDriver is in simple you can say it is a API means it is a library which is used to communicate to the your browser. The library is to communicate to the browser. Directly we can't communicate. Now when you don't have the this presentation layer, then where we can write the script? If I want to work with the WebDriver, what are the prerequisites for me? Understand. What are the prerequisites? For that, I want to explain to you one simple WebDriver architecture it is. This is my application is there. Application nothing but AUT we are going to call application under test. Application under test. So this application can be opened in different browsers. It can be Edge or Chrome or it can be Firefox browser. This is the application I wanted to gmail.com email edit box is there. Then there is a next button is there like this. Okay. Now in general, if you want to write the Java program, where we can write the Java program, you can write in the notepad. But in the notepad, if you write, if you committed any syntax errors, it won't have the intelligence to give the intimation to the programmer. That's the reason Eclipse, you want to write the Java program, instead of going to the notepad, we are going to use the one editor we can use. So it can be Eclipse IDE or IntelliJ, either one we can use. So generally Eclipse is more convenient. We are going to prefer the Eclipse we are going to prefer. So that is the one editor we are going to prefer. Eclipse IDE. Okay. In this Eclipse IDE, Java program you want to write. If you want to write the Java program, some structure we have to follow. What is the structure? First, we have to write the Java project. We have to create. Inside the Java project, you will get the one folder called SRC. One folder we are going to get called SRC. So inside this SRC, we can create one subfolder called package. Package you can create. And nothing but a subfolder. Inside this package, we can have the multiple classes. That is nothing but one program. Is there. The class will have the one boundary like this. One file it is. Every class consists of one file it is. Okay. Now, inside this class, we are going to write the statements. That is the structure we have here. Project. inside this subfolder. Project also one main folder. Inside this we have the class. Okay. There's a hierarchy will be like this. Okay. Now here my intention, something I want to display here like this. My program, I want to write like this. I want to display. I want to say it is. Now in Java, there is a one statement I can write. System dot out dot println of hi I given. Now who doesn't have the Java program when I written this like this out dot println, see Eclipse by paint. What is saying that it highlighting red or not? My Eclipse also going to highlights in red. If I write a system out dot println. Why? My Eclipse is not able to understand what is the meaning of that statement because the Eclipse doesn't have the any library to understand the Java statements. So what we have to do here for this project, one library we have to provide. What is the library we are going to call? JRE library, Java Runtime Environment Library, libs. That we have to provide. So that is the reason before going to install the Eclipse, first you have to install the Java in your system. Okay, the Java library is required. So that it will, once you return the system out dot println, then it will refer into the JRE library. Go to JRE library, refer it please. What is the meaning of that statement? Here written like that, and what is the meaning of that? Okay. Now here it will execute Java. So Java developers point of view, it is sufficient. Eclipse JRE library available, that is sufficient. Now what about us? Okay, like this. Now what I want to do on this application, I want to some operation. What I want to enter Durga. In email inbox, I want to enter. So I written like this. Element dot send keys. Durga I given like this. Now whenever I written like this, how paint, why it is giving some error? You know, Word document if I written, it shows like this. Paint also given. Paint is not able to understand what is the meaning of that. it is in English dictionary, it is not there. Paint, recently they associated paint English dictionary they are given. So it referred that library, there is no send word like this, send keys. Okay. It is given error. Same way Eclipse also will give like the highlights with red. Because when I written like this, immediately go to the JRE library and it refer it is. So there is no information about the send keys. What is the use of that? That information is not provided. That information is not provided. Then how it is going to, so not able to understand. So we have to put one more library here. What is that libraries are? We have to go for the WebDriver libs library. That is also we have to provide to the our Java project, so that if it refer here not understand, then refer to this library. So it will going to understand and able to perform the operation on your application using JSON protocols. It is able to communicate to the your browser to perform the operations. JSON protocols it will use to communicate to the browser. It is okay. This is how it is going to work. Our WebDriver. That means, if you want to work with Selenium in your system, what are the prerequisites for us? First, we have to go for the JRE library. Then we have to go for the Eclipse IDE. Then we have to go for the WebDriver JavaScript. They are the prerequisites for us. Now see my here. Prerequisites for WebDriver configuration. So JDK 21 or above versions we can use. JDK means Java Development Kit. So when you have Java Development Kit, which have the library of Development Kit as well as Java Runtime Environment. Java Runtime Environment. JDK, Eclipse IDE, then WebDriver jars. So first one JDK, second one is Eclipse IDE. Eclipse IDE is an editor which is used to develop the Java programs. So in this editor, we develop automation test scripts based on automation test scenarios after configuration of WebDriver library. After configuration of WebDriver library. So these are the prerequisites for us. Okay. So JDK 21 or above version, Eclipse IDE, and then WebDriver JARS. JARS means Java Archivities. It is also a library which contains the set of classes, methods, and properties to communicate to the browser. To communicate to the browser. Okay. Now, before going to start working on the Java, everyone has to create the Selenium environment in our systems for practice, right? So this is the theory is over actually in automation testing. Now onwards, there is no theory. Everything is going to be practical orientation only. So what you have to do? First, you have to create, set up the Selenium environment in our systems. So how to do the configuration? I will going to explain to you now. WebDriver configuration. First step, download JDK 21 and run it is. Download JDK 21 and run. So from where it is, see, first you observe my here. I'm not saying the parallel simultaneously to do the practice. Okay. Now download JDK 21. This link I will share you in WhatsApp. Okay. To the link. So when you click on this link, okay, if you whatever link I given, just you copy and paste that link here. Click on enter. It will start downloads to you. Okay. So already I downloaded recently. This is the one we are going to get. JDK 21.0.2 we are getting. Just you double click on that. You double click. When you double click, it will going to ask, do you want to allow the changes in your device? Say yes, it is. Then you are going to get the so Java installation wizard. Just you have to go for next only you have to do it is. Okay. So what you have to do, the very first thing you need to download and run. I said it is okay. So run means you have to install it is. Then step two. Once it is successfully installed in your system, if I go for the C drive, C drive program files, if I go, there is a Java folder will be available. If you go for Java folder, you are going to find the JDK 21. See, my 19 it supports, 21 support, 22 also supports. Later to work on the Jenkins tool, 21 version is compatible compared to the 22 19. That's the reason I said both for the Eclipse as well as Selenium and Jenkins also 21. You have to go for JDK 21, you have to open this. Now, so 21, that is the URL you are going to get. That is the down. So Java environment location is the C drive program is Java it is. Then step two, what you have to do specify JDK and JDK bin path into the system environment variables. Java home JDK path. Okay. Now in our Zoom online meeting chat box. I'm giving the link to you here to download the JDK. Try to download JDK. Try to install the JDK first. Try yourself or try to complete the Java installation in your system. Sir, in my system, I have the 1780, doesn't matter. Try to download this one. Try to install it is. Later you want to uninstall other older versions, you can uninstall it is. First step, try to, there are 6 steps more for WebDriver configure. Very first step, we have to download the JDK and run it is. Now, as I said, I want to go for the latest one of the Selenium. So give the message to me once Java installation is completed. Okay. Mac that is not supports, right? Mac suppose. For Mac, I'm giving the URL here. Try this one more. So Mac OS I said now this is the for Windows. Try to work with the Windows operating system, Pujita, because Mac OS what happens here high security. This is open source. Some complications will come later also because later also we are going to some other open source tools. So if your possibility is that try to work with the Windows OS for the Selenium practicing purpose. Ashalata, I send the link for Windows Java. So don't worry, try to I will send this notes also today. Try to download the JDK. Let me show it is in this notes. I've given the JDK link to you. This one you download and install it is. And step two, how to do, I will explain it is. You don't worry. I will explain it is. Then step three, download the Eclipse also. So this notes also I will share today. Okay, try to download it is and you have to install it is. See mom, once it downloaded, you will get like this. The Eclipse installer you are going to get. You double click on that Eclipse once installed. Okay. So otherwise what I will do no, so it is not allowed to share. So hmm. So just you go for the first one, Eclipse IDE for Java developers. Select it, click on install, it will be installed to you. These two things you complete to before coming to the class. Even though you feel difficult, just to download. Remaining how to do configuration, I will explain it is. So I will share these notes to you in the WhatsApp group. Who are not yet registered, try to register, give the message to me. I will go to add you into the group to get the notes. Okay. So thank you. So that is the class. I will share this notes. Try to download it. Is tomorrow I will go to complete the how to do the web driver configuration. I will explain this. Okay. Okay. Thank you. See you tomorrow.